Hey friends, it's M from GSA. Long time no pod. How's everyone doing? That's good. I'm glad. So I've had some questions about why it's taken so long to record another pod. Well, a few reasons. One, I am no longer searching for someone to be railed by, so that's cool. What else? Work has been terrible, and your girl has been down bad with the big sad. And also, I just didn't have any content. I couldn't think of anything funny. But then, since your girl is on a waiting list at CAMH for an autism assessment, they were like, "Oh, we need some records from your school." And I was like, "Hey, I had a psychoeducational assessment done in grade 8. And then I had an idea. Read it on the pod. I'm reading it on the pod. Okay. So, I guess we're just gonna jump right into this. Yeah. Let's see. Do I have any tunes that I can play? Actually, no, I don't. Wait, why did it? Hold on. Sorry, pause pod for a sec. Did I not pick up that same medication today at Shoppers? Pardon? Hold on. This is a big... Yeah, there's 2 bottles in here. So why did I get another text saying that, oh, you need Prazosin? But girl, I have it. It is here. And, oh, this is a chunky bottle. Sertraline 100 mil. Love that for us. Okay, back in the bag we go. Sorry, I got confused. Because I'm fresh out of my nightmare medicine. So, I got those PTSD nightmares. Gang fam. Yes, that is my life. Anyway, okay, I'm part of so many little gay group chats, and it's the most annoying fucking thing. Not annoying, but it's a lot. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna read my psychoeducational assessment, and it should be fun. So here we go. Psychological Services Report, Crawford, Emily. Durham Catholic District School Board, Psychological Services, St. John Bosco Catholic School. I was 13 years old and 5 months in grade 8. And so I had a number of assessment days. So December 13th was initial one. And then January 4th, 10, 11, 18th, and 25th of 2011. So, reason for referral. Emily was referred for a psychological assessment to understand her learning style and her social-emotional functioning in the school setting. Specific concerns regarding social skills and peer interaction were addressed. An assessment was requested to assist the school with programming and transition planning as she prepares for secondary school. Also, I feel like we're going to learn by the end of this assessment, I probably should have had a fucking IEP throughout my educational career. But anyway, that didn't happen. So, moving on. Background. I'm gonna have some water because my throat is dry. Hold on. Okay. Background. Emily lives with her parents and 9-year-old sister. Mrs. Crawford, so Andrea, my mom, reported that Emily was born premature at 28 weeks gestation, weighing 1 pound, 1 ounce. Oh, I've been hyping myself up. I thought it was 1 pound, 6 ounces. Okay, whatever. 1 pound, 1 ounce. Cool. I wonder how much I would cost on the black market. 1 pound, 1 ounce of baby. Anyway, following birth, she was hospitalized for 9 months. She pulled herself up at 6 months of age, corrected. So I think that means like I was 6 months old, but like in terms of, okay, so when it says corrected, hold on. Let me Google this. Also, I'm on the phone with Andy right now. They're listening to me record the pod. They're listening to me record the pod. And it's really nice. It's some nice, quiet, emotional support, and we love that for me. Corrected meaning medical term birth. Okay. The age of a premature baby revised so that it accurately reflects his or her premature delivery. It can be calculated in one of two ways. First, a baby's week of prematurity can be subtracted from his or her. Bitch, the fuck? I just want to know how old I was when I sat up and pulled myself up for the first time. SOS nurse friend. Hold on. Y'all, I'm like having a moment. 1 second. SOS nurse friends. Recording a pod. Oh no. When it says corrected, does that mean I am a true 6-month-old? Like 6 months post-birth? Post-actual birth? Or was I 9 months post-birth? And they said 6 months because I was born 3 months early. Okay, I have asked my GC. Okay, also, for clarification, when I say I'm part of annoying group chats, I joined 2 group chats based from Twitter, and my ex's current partner is in both of them, so that's fucking weird. Hopefully she doesn't try and start a fight with me, because I'm not about to deal with that. Like, I want to make new friends. Anyway, yeah, I asked my group chat, which is called M's Faves, because, like, I don't have I don't have, like, a friend group. I have singular friends. So I popped them all into this group chat so that, when I have, like, shit to tell them, it's easier than copying and pasting to, like, 12 different people. So, yeah. So, there are 3 nurses in M's Faves, and it looks like Maddie is the most responsive this evening in terms of when I ask a question, which is fine. You're adults. You have jobs. I don't give a shit. But Maddie, thank you for repping. Let's hope someone answers my question. Okay. For now, we're just going to say I was like regular. Like, it was 6 months since I exited my mom. Anyway, so she pulled herself up at 6 months of age, corrected, and walked at 18 months of age. Is that late? Is that late to start walking 18 months? I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Not like I do it super well currently, and I am how many months am I? I am 288 months almost, and I'm still garbage at walking. So, maybe it was for the best that I learned late. Okay, but was I 6 months out of the womb? Anyway, sorry, we running off track here. She a runner, she a track star. Anyway, I got that from Marcus. He does that a lot. Until age 2, Emily received oxygen and had a feeding tube on a constant basis. Given her arched mouth palate and oral sensation problems, Emily exhibited mild speech delays. Oh, okay. Reportedly, she uttered her first words at age 2 and used 2-word phrases by 2.5 years. According to her mother, Emily's speech and language progressed quickly once she received formal speech and language services at age 3. Maybe I fucking need them now. Like, Jesus, why is it so difficult for me to read out loud? And I was out here thinking I was going to be a lawyer in grade 9. Okay, so yes, I was 6 months when I pulled myself up. We love that. Okay, so, in preschool, Emily exhibited difficulties with focusing and impulsivity, which have decreased as she became older. Bitch, no it hasn't. I've literally been masking my entire life, but go off. According to Mrs. Crawford, my mom, Emily struggled with organization in early elementary grades. However, she was able to meet the curriculum expectations. Emily continues to be followed up every 2 years at Sick Kids. Presently, she experiences cardiopulmonary issues due to hypertension, but does not require medication. Also, Emily continues to exhibit issues with physical endurance and coordination. Yeah, that checks out still. Mrs. Crawford reported that formal genetic testing did not indicate any abnormalities. Interesting. Mrs. Crawford reported that presently her daughter struggles with several aspects of social functioning. At home, Emily often avoids or limits eye contact with family members. See, I didn't know that people notice that I do that. Yeah, I didn't know that people noticed that I do that. So, interesting. Emily often avoids or limits eye contact with family members. Also, she will say inappropriate things or intrude on others' physical space. Bitch, I still do. Emily also appears to interpret her peers' sarcastic or humorous comments in a literal manner and struggles with being assertive when she is teased by peers. Yep. Mrs. Crawford feels that her daughter's sense of personal responsibility is poor. Okay. Emily has a long history of being the target of bullying in school. Presently, she associates with a more positive group of female peers in her class. However, she rarely sees them outside of school. Interesting. because I think, so this was in grade 8, in the early winter of grade 8, so like January. So at this point, I was friends with that girl who I pushed down the hill and broke her ankle. This was also like the peak of my emo phase, I think. Like, apparently I was a try-hard emo kid, but whatever. I wore purple skinnies and Black Veil Brides t-shirts all the time. And like, I had so many different colored skinny jeans. Your girl lived at Detox, which was like Canadian Hot Topic. It's out of business now, but it was from Quebec. Yeah. Moving on. Emily has a long history of being targeted bullying in school, associates with more positive group of female peers in class. However, rarely sees them outside of school. Beginning last spring, Emily exhibited a more irritable mood and appeared to withdraw from her relationship with her parents. Okay. So, spring of grade 7. Mrs. Crawford also noted that Emily had exhibited an occasional twitching in her shoulder this fall. I don't remember that. But doctor ruled out any physical causes. Yeah, I don't remember this elbow twitching. Mrs. Crawford attributed these symptoms to her daughter's stress due to bullying that she had experienced in grade 7 and early grade 8. Towards the end of the assessment, Mrs. Crawford reported that Emily has been excluded from the female group and doesn't understand why. Reportedly, her peers will no longer sit with her at lunch, and she often sits alone. Yeah. Mrs. Crawford reported that Emily's moods and her relationship with her younger sister have both recently improved. In contrast, no changes were observed in Emily's eating, sleeping, and energy levels. There are no significant concerns regarding her anxiety, fears, and behavior at this time. Bitch, there was, I just didn't talk about it. Mrs. Crawford has not observed any rigid interests or repetitive behaviors at this time. In contrast, she felt that her daughter's preferred activities are short-lived and she has not developed any persistent interests. Hold on one second. Sorry, where were we? Right. In contrast, she feels that her daughter's preferred activities are short-lived and she has not developed any persistent interests. She also described her daughter as a picky eater who has to have exactly the same lunch every day. Fuck yeah, I did. This was before I was vegetarian. So, ham and cheese croissant. Black forest ham with cheddar on a croissant that was toasted in the toaster oven. And it was a great time. I haven't eaten that since I became vegetarian, but I'd love to make it a vegan version or like a plant-based version with like fake meat and cheese and stuff. I don't know. That'd be cool. Very nostalgic. Maybe I will. Anyway, alrighty. So this is, oh God, I'm sorry. So, Mr. Sear, my grade 8 teacher, who was a fucking asshole, this is what he had to say. Mr. Sear, Emily's current teacher, reported that her academic achievement is generally grade appropriate. He noted that Emily has difficulties with self-organization, tends to become preoccupied with certain tasks, and struggles with time management. Consistent with Miss Crawford, so my mom, Mr. Sear emphasized several areas of concern regarding her relationships with her peers. Reportedly, Emily has a difficult time finding a partner for school projects. Once she finds a partner, the work is shared equally. Obviously, because I'm not about to do all the work or be a slacker. Anyway, furthermore, Emily appears vulnerable to peer pressure as she will try hard to be accepted by her peers. Same. She has a long history of being bullied. At times, Emily appears paranoid as she struggles to cope with her experiences. That PTSD shit. Mr. Sear reported that Emily was specifically targeted by 3 girls in grade 7 who called her names, manipulated her, etc. Okay, so I don't remember who these girls were. I'm thinking it may be the same girl who I pushed down the hill, but I don't remember that. Given the staff's intervention, the bullying has stopped. Yet Emily continues to bring up her last year's experiences with school staff. During one conversation with the principal, she remarked that it just makes me want to kill myself. Yeah, it did. At the time, her parents were notified of this comment. I didn't know they were notified of that comment. According to Emily's Ontario student record, she has attended junior kindergarten to grade 1 at St. Matthew's, grade 2 to grade 3 at Bosco, grade 4 to grade 6 at Thomas Aquinas French Immersion. Midway through grade 6, Emily transferred back to Bosco, given the severe bullying she experienced at St. Thomas French School. Emily's grade 7 report card indicates generally average to slightly above average performance in most academic subjects, with the exception of math. We've been new. In math, her grades were average to below average. Emily's grades in English writing have improved over the course of the grade 7 year. Her grade 7 teacher's comments indicate good study skills, but but noted some difficulties with self-direction when struggling with more difficult work. In grade 4, Emily received child and youth counselor services. An occupational therapy assessment report from the neonatal follow-up program indicated age-appropriate development skills. Sorry. I did have child and youth. When did that happen? Child and youth counselor services. Grade 4, yeah. But I don't remember that at all. Anyway, an occupational therapy assessment report from the National Neonatal Follow-Up Program. In November 2001, indicated age-appropriate development in gross and fine motor skills and relative strengths in language, cognitive, and manual dexterity skills. According to this report, she exhibited distractibility and difficulty with sustained attention to task, consistent with many children born at her gestational age. Okay. And so this is just telling me all of the tests they did on me. So services provided: interview with my mom, interview with my grade 8 teacher, review of my Ontario student record, Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children, 4th edition, Wechsler Individual Achievement Test, 2nd edition, the Beery Botanica Developmental Test, a visual motor integration, child behavior checklist for age 6 to 18, youth self-report. I'd love to see my self-report. Oh, that should be in here somewhere. That'll be fun. Social responsiveness scale, parent and teacher forums, Asperger's syndrome diagnosis scale. Okay, we're gonna fucking look at that because they fucked up there. I should have been diagnosed years ago. And who knows, maybe I'd be successful by now if I had these things put in place at the time. Your girl could be a social worker right now, or I don't know, just not living at my parents' house, working a job I fucking hate. Anyway, they did a behavior rating inventory of executive function, parent and teacher forum, clinical interview, and projective drawings. Oh, we love that. Drawing. Okay. behavioral observations. I need more water, and I need to stop talking so fast. Hold on. Okay. Behavioral observations. Emily generally presented as somewhat younger and socially awkward young person. Okay, grammar. Presented as somewhat younger and they forgot a word here, and a socially awkward young person. She initially appeared tense, but appeared to relax following a conversation with the examiner regarding her pets, favorite books, and music. Yeah. She also benefited from a direct explanation of the assessment process, given her initial questions. Is this about the bullying? Overall, Emily focused well and appeared to put forth her best effort on academic tasks. She transitioned well between tasks. She appeared anxious when the youth self-report questionnaire was introduced and inquired about the confidentiality of her answers. She relaxed following a discussion of the limits of confidentiality. During the clinical interview, Emily tended to exhibit a relatively flat affect despite discussing many difficult experiences. Because I remove myself from the emotion, and it's just trauma. Yeah, trauma. She exhibited brief increases in positive mood and voice tone in response to examiners' jokes or when asked about her interests. Otherwise, she tended to use a monotone voice. Given these behavioral observations, the results of the current assessment may be considered a reliable estimate of Emily's current abilities and functioning in the classroom. The Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children was administered to determine Emily's level of cognitive functioning relative to Canadian children her age. Emily's processing speed was significantly weaker than her verbal comprehension and her working memory. So, a verbal comprehension index, 55th percentile, which was average. Perceptual reasoning index, average. Working memory index, average. Processing speed index, average. Oh, maybe I wasn't fucking gifted then. Oh well. I'm still autistic. Anyway, full scale IQ 47th, which is average. And yeah, processing speed, low average. The verbal comprehension index assesses the ability to reason using words, process verbal information, and verbal comprehension. The child is asked to respond orally based on his or her acquired learning experience. Emily exhibited high average ability to define words, vocabulary, 75 percentile. That's because your girl was inside reading books every single recess because I had no friends. She scored in the average rank on a social reasoning task. And on an abstract verbal reasoning task. She scored in the average range on a social reasoning task and on an abstract verbal reasoning task. These results indicate that Emily's language and verbal reasoning abilities are age appropriate. Yo, like, this job sounds so fucking boring. Like, I'm sure someone likes it, but like, I could never. I mean, I guess this is what like intake notes are like for social workers, I guess. But just like cognitive, like, I've read case notes for people and like it just says they were in a pleasant mood and they were dressed nicely and they were clean. And yeah. So, I mean, maybe kids are different. I don't know. I want to work on more community-based though. So I don't really want to have my own clients in terms of like giving therapy to people because like I don't want to fuck them up. Anyway, wow, I'm gonna be a great some type of service worker. Fuck. This is who let me want to work with people? Like, what? Okay. Also, I know I'm gonna get blasted by Andy later because they're just gonna be like, you talk down about yourself too much. And I know I do, but it's fine. Okay, the Perceptual Reasoning Index assesses perceptual organization and spatial reasoning. Children are asked to analyze visual stimuli and to solve novel problems using nonverbal strategies. Emily scored in the high average range on a nonverbal problem-solving task. Her performance on the 2 remaining tasks was average. A visual organization task and a language-mediated visual association task. I remember doing these. They were like block designs and like looking not like the Bechdel test, or no, wait, no, that's how that's how gay movies are. Rorschach? I don't know, the one where you look at a butterfly and they're like, it looks like death. I think it was similar to that. Her performance on the 2 remaining tasks was average, a visual organization task and a language-mediated visual association task. Emily's visual spatial abilities are also age-appropriate and consistent with her verbal comprehension ability. The Working Memory Index assesses the child's ability to hold and manipulate information in short-term memory. The children are asked to repeat directly or organize in order strings of numbers and letters. Emily exhibited high average ability and a relative strength on a working memory task. Fuck yeah, I did, because I'm very good at that. Her rote memory was average. These results indicate that Emily is able to return and manipulate information in her mind as she is working on tasks. The Processing Speed Index measures a child's ability to fluently perform visual scanning and graphomotor tasks under time constraints. Emily performed in the average range on a visual scanning task for looking for symbols. So like pick out all of the elephants on this page, I guess. In contrast, she scored in the low average range when asked to copy symbols corresponding to a key. I don't remember that, but it's called coding, so I imagine that I wouldn't be good at it. Her performance on the latter task represented a significant weakness relative to her cognitive profile. These results indicate that Emily's processing speed is slower on graphomotor tasks. Emily's visual motor integration was further assessed using the Beery VMI. Her performance on this test indicated that her visual perception and fine motor coordination are in the low average range. She correctly copied basic and moderately difficult complex shapes correctly. Okay, sure. Academic achievement. Emily completed selected subtests on the Wechsler Individualized Achievement Test to provide a profile of her academic achievement. This is a standardized test. However, the generated scores do not directly reflect the Ontario school curriculum. Emily's score indicates that she is on track in her academic achievement. And that was the last time they'd ever say that. Word reading, above average. Numerical operations, math, reasoning, and spelling, all just basic average. Reading. Emily exhibited above average ability to read single words of increasing difficulty, which is consistent with her self-reported strong interest in reading. So that's why I was above average in reading on that little test. Also, I got false nails the other day, and it's so difficult to do everything. But, I'm not picking my skin, so that's fun. Math. Emily scored in the average range in numerical operations and in mathematical reasoning. In regards to numerical operations, Emily was able to do addition and subtraction using multi-digit numbers, as well as basic multiplication and division. Her performance on calculations involving the use of fractions and decimals was inconsistent, because fuck fractions. In regards to math reasoning, Emily was able to solve problems requiring the use of arithmetic, basic fractions, geometric, and spatial reasoning. Her performance on math problems requiring the use of money, number patterns, and basic statistics was inconsistent. Yeah, because money management, who's that? Emily's lower performance on math problem solving is likely related to her slower processing speed and low visual motor integration. Cool. Spelling. Emily scored in the average range in spelling. Her spelling errors included phonetic spelling and missing letters. Okay. Ability achievement discrepancy analysis. An ability achievement discrepancy analysis allows the direct comparisons of a student's level of academic achievement on standardized tests with what might be expected given her cognitive functioning. The results of this assessment demonstrate that Emily is achieving above the level expected based on her overall intellectual functioning and word reading. Remaining academic scores are consistent with her cognitive profile. Okay. Who is buzzing me? Oh, okay. No one important. Okay. Social, emotional, behavioral. Fun. Mrs. Crawford completed standardized measures. So my mom completed standardized measures of child emotional and behavioral functioning, executive functions, and child interpersonal functioning, communication, and repetitive stereotypic behavior that is characteristic. Wait, hold on. Mrs. Crawford completed standardized measures of child and emotional behavioral functioning, executive functions, and child interpersonal functioning, communication, and repetitive stereotypical behaviors that is characteristic of autism, spectrum disorders, and Asperger's. Emily's current teacher, Mr. Steer, completed parallel measures of the same scales. Emily completed a self-report. Emily completed a self-report measure to provide her perceptions of her own emotional and behavioral functioning. These checklists serve as screening measures to identify youth with clinically significant difficulties. Okay. Alrighty, so social, emotional, behavioral. Both her teacher and her mother reported clinically significant impairment in Emily's executive functions, specifically difficulties with impulse control, making transitions, working memory, organization of materials, planning for and anticipating future events, monitoring own progress were identified in the school setting. Same. Mrs. Crawford's ratings indicated similar concerns at home, with the exception of age-appropriate transitions and planning organization skills. Clinically significant difficulties with social functioning and peer relationships are evident both at home and at school, as indicated by all three respondents. Emily's symptoms include severe difficulties with expressive and reciprocal social communication, as well as interpretation of social cues. Furthermore, she struggles with the awareness of social cues, the motivation to engage in social interactions, as well as autistic mannerisms. Bitch, we been new! Poor coordination, narrow interest, rigidity of thought and conversation topics. Yeah. Why the fuck wasn't I diagnosed ages ago? Clinical interview. During a clinical interview, Emily discussed her experiences with severe bullying in a relatively flat tone with occasional annoyance. She stated that she has been bullied all my school life. Emily confirmed her mother's and teachers' reports that she was targeted by a group of 3 girls between grade 6 and early grade 8. She provided a detailed list of insults and sexualized name-calling that she had experienced. Really? Okay. I'm unfortunate. That's, they don't have them here. Emily described a few unsuccessful attempts to assert herself in person and through Facebook postings. One such attempt accumulated in the girl's mother accusing Emily of cyberbullying. I remember that. Emily reported that now she has a positive experience with a larger group of girls in her grade. Okay, so these were the same girls who basically, like, I shadowed through high school, kind of. Like, they were the same popular girls who, these are the same popular girls who outed me and, like, got mad at me for being gay and thought that I was going to hurt them on the school trip and why I wasn't allowed to go on the grade 8 grad trip. I don't know if I've told that story here or not. Someone remind me if I have, please. Okay. Emily reported that now she has a positive experience with a larger group of girls in her grade. However, she appears to have limited contact with them after school. So I actually went to one of these girls' birthday parties, and we used to have this story named Siblings. And it was like Blue Notes, but like for kids, basically. Like Justice, but like not gross. And Jojo Siwa. Not that Jojo Siwa is gross. We stand a queer icon. Just like Justice looks as if Jojo Siwa like invaded it. So yeah, better than Justice. Anyway, so when asked to describe her friendships, Emily tended to provide a long list of names, which differed between conversations with the examiner on separate days. Yep. Alternatively, she would offer platitudes, such as, "She is the sweetest girl on earth," and appeared to interpret Facebook chat with strangers as indicative of a deeper friendship. Yep. She exhibited a limited understanding of why her attempts at friendships might be rejected by her peers, or why some of her behaviors might be seen as annoying. Consistent with her mother's report, Emily interprets peers' excuses to avoid social contact after school in a very literal manner. For example, she reported that the girl who bullied her severely told her that her house is farther away than her other friends, thus she will not visit Emily. I remember that, actually. Subsequently, Emily drew a detailed map to demonstrate to the examiner that her house is in fact closer than the other girls. Yeah, I do. I remember that. Emily also repeatedly brought up the issue of whether she wanted to attend the local public high school for a fresh start or attend the Catholic school with most of the people in her grade. Emily reported that she has a low self-esteem due to bullying. She also feels like she has to be perfect and reported that she struggles with meeting family members' expectations of her. Yep, still true. She also alluded to a past attempt to hurt herself when she was particularly upset due to severe bullying. This appeared to be the same attempt that was also already reported by the principal to her mother. Emily denied having felt like hurting herself since that incident, and a coping plan was discussed. Emily confirmed that she has difficulty switching tasks and reported that she spends a lot of time in solitary activities after school. She also reported that when alone, she sometimes sees an image of a teenage boy that she doesn't find distressing. Oh yeah. Yep. That still happens sometimes. Not like seeing shit, but like a lot of the time I just can't tell if something is like my running communication like in my head, like with my brain, or like I don't know. Yeah. Also, like I'm not high right now or anything, but like this is like very like very vulnerable and opening, I guess. But yeah, for a little while, or for a long period of time actually, I would have like different characters in my head, and like maybe they're my brain like making imaginary friends, or like trying to make me have friends, but like maybe they're not, I don't know. They're not here right now though, or recently. So that's been cool, but I don't know what it means, and I'm really scared to tell people about it. So I'm putting it on a podcast instead. Also, I just remembered I'm on the phone with my partner. Surprise! I haven't told you about that shit yet. Run away now if you want to. They're playing Stardew. They don't care. They do care, but like, we talk about it later. Hold on. This is gonna stop recording in a minute. Sorry, where was I? Yeah. So Emily enjoys reading novels, writing, and art projects. She expressed an interest in attending counseling initially appeared to interpret the current assessment as a counseling meeting. The clinical interview and projective drawings suggested that Emily has the ability to differentiate basic feelings and has some basic knowledge about social relationships. However, she indicated that it is hard for her to know when she is happy, as most of her mood is somber. She also indicated that she often gets angry at little things, such as when her parents forget to buy milk when they go to the store. She repeatedly mentioned the desire for an older sibling to confide in. Emily noted her wish to have a boyfriend and to marry and have children in the future. Consistent with her age, Emily reported some age-appropriate sibling rivalry with her younger sister and mixed feelings about her relationships with her parents. So at this time, I was either masking the fact that I was queer, or I hadn't like figured it out fully yet. Overall, the clinical interview suggests that Emily struggles to understand her own and others' emotional experiences. She also misinterprets superficial social interactions as indicative of deeper friendships. Her difficulty with developing age-appropriate peer relationships, a monotone voice with few inflections, and impairment in understanding of social cues all cause significant impairment in social and emotional functioning. Emily struggles with transitions and tends to become preoccupied with activities or specific thought patterns. These are features of Asperger's disorder, which is not called Asperger's anymore, just autism spectrum, because it is a spectrum, and there's no such thing as high functioning or low functioning. Vaccines do not cause autism. I do not look autistic, because what the fuck does autistic look like? Anyway, formulation. Emily is a 13-year-old girl who was referred for a psychological assessment, given significant impairment in social emotional functioning. She has a history of extremely premature birth, subsequent prolonged hospitalization, and severe medical concerns during her early life. Emily has a history of difficulties relating to peers and being a victim of bullying. So I think a formulation is just like a summary. The current assessment indicated that despite average verbal and nonverbal cognitive abilities, Emily continues to exhibit significant difficulties with relating to her peers. She has limited insight into her own and others' emotional experiences. Emily also interprets superficial social interactions as indicative of deeper friendships. Didn't I just read this? Her difficulty with developing age-appropriate peer relationships, a monotone voice with few inflections, an impairment in understanding of social cues, all cause significant impairment in social and emotional functioning. I can tell where this girl copied and pasted from other parts of this report, but that's fine. You're allowed to do that. Emily struggles with transitions and tends to become preoccupied with activities Emily struggles. Oh, yeah, I do struggle. Emily struggles with transitions and tends to become preoccupied with activities or specific thought patterns. Her allusion to an attempt to hurt herself and her reports of seeing images of people when alone indicate the need for continued monitoring of her mental health. In contrast to her social cognitive profile, in contrast to her social functioning, Emily's academic achievement is grade appropriate and consistent with her cognitive profile. In conclusion, with Dr. Bates, school and clinical psychologist, the current psychological assessment suggests the presence of Asperger's. However, further assessment using interview and behavioral observations by a developmental pediatrician or a clinical psychologist who specializes in working with individuals with pervasive developmental disorders will be necessary to confirm or rule out this diagnosis. Yo, what the fuck? This literally says presence of Asperger's. Go get this shit checked out. Why the fuck didn't oh my god. What the fuck? Why didn't anyone what the fuck? Why didn't I'm so sad right now. The fuck? Mom, you said it was what? They said it was just a nonverbal learning disability. You didn't tell me that they told you to take me for more tests. What the fuck? I'm so mad. I want to cry. I want to cry from relief because I'm not going psycho. And Sam, my ex, told me that I have Munchausen by proxy because they didn't think that I was autistic and they think that I just want to have something wrong with me. So fuck you. There actually is something wrong with me. I just don't want there to be. There is. So ha. Okay, next page. Alrighty. Classroom implications and recommendations. It is recommended that the suggestions in the following section be incorporated into the most current version of the student's IEP for as long as the information is relevant to the student's need. Bitch, I didn't have a fucking IEP. I should have, though. Emily would benefit from a detailed assessment by a developmental pediatrician or a clinical psychologist who specializes in working with individuals with pervasive developmental disorders. A physician referral to the Child Development Clinic at Holland Bloor View may also be helpful. I'm going to show this to my mom because, oh my god. If Emily's social emotional difficulties continue despite interventions and she begins to exhibit changes in her mood, attention, sleeping, eating patterns, or enjoyment in previously enjoyed activities, so depression, a referral to a child psychiatrist or pediatrician may be helpful. In particular, psychiatric consultation would be important if repeated SI, suicidal ideation, or attempts and or additional visual Visual hallucinations are observed. See, I did observe more hallucinations, but I just didn't tell anyone about it because I didn't feel safe. Specialized individual and group counseling for young people with Asperger's and their parents is at Lake Ridge, but you need a formal diagnosis. Alternatively, Emily may benefit from individual counseling at one of the following agencies. Why wasn't any of this shit done for me? So they gave me a recommendation for individual counseling at Kinark Child Center and Lake Ridge Child and Youth Program. Given her self-reported attempts to hurt herself, a concrete coping plan was discussed with Emily. Her parents are encouraged to gently check in with Emily regarding her mood and peer difficulties to assess whether she is coping appropriately. The following plan was jointly formed with Emily to cope with distressing emotions and experiences. Distract yourself with a preferred activity. Call Kids Hope Phone. Speak to a trusted adult. That literally looks like the fucking little pamphlet Kids Help Phone gives you. Emily and her family may benefit from advocacy and case services available for resources for exceptional children and youth at Durham Region. The school staff is encouraged to refer Emily to the child and youth counselor. Emily would benefit from explicit and direct instruction to help address her social difficulties, coping with bullying, and understanding peer and romantic relationships. Emily needs to be protected from bullying, teasing, and social exclusion. She may benefit from a buddy system with a willing and appropriate female peer. Teachers may choose to educate a sensitive female classmate and seat them next to each other to promote a friendship. While it is not appropriate to single out Emily in front of her peers, pairing her with appropriate female peers for group work may be helpful. Emily's teachers and parents are encouraged to begin the process of planning for secondary education by contacting guidance support and program support teachers as at the intended school. Where possible, Emily needs to be exposed to her new teachers and new routine prior to September so that she can prepare for her new settings. A specific case conference, including program support teachers at her current and intended school, is recommended. At the secondary school, Emily would benefit from a learning strategies course and a consultation with the student success teacher. Furthermore, she would benefit from having a trusted teacher or staff member that she could check in with on a daily basis. Secondary school staff is encouraged to consider providing Emily with co-op or work experience related to her interests to help with an increased sense of success and promote self-esteem. Given her low average visual motor integration and low average processing speed, Emily will likely benefit from additional time to complete tests and written assignments in school. See, I remember that being told to me, and I remember my mom telling me that they had said that in my report, in my assessment, but that was never done. Because I would have fucking needed it. Given Emily's strong interest in reading novels, she is encouraged to participate in a community reading club to meet other youth with similar interests. Reading programs for youth are likely available at her local library. She may also enjoy a structured program like Girl Guides or Pathfinders. I did brownies for a bit. It was all right. I didn't mind it. I was younger then. I wasn't in grade 8. I was younger than that when I did brownies. Given her desire for an older sibling and confident, Emily may benefit from having a big sister through the Big Brother Big Sister program. The organization takes referrals from parents or guardians only. Mr. and Mrs. Crawford are encouraged to contact Big Brother Big Sister of Oshawa Whitby. Helping Emily to develop a sense of other people's feelings, empathy, is essential. Discussing own feelings and or the feelings of characters in books that Emily reads or television shows or movies that she watches may help her to understand how those characters feel. Ask her questions. Why do you think characters feel happy right now? Or why did the character say that? To get her to think about these interpersonal relationships in a non-threatening way. Emily may benefit from learning and making use of simple anxiety reduction techniques. Deep breathing exercises may help Emily to control her anxiety when making transitions. Positive self-talk strategies, such as I'm feeling nervous, but I'm going to be all right. I'm going to try my best and I will get through this. It will be okay. May help Emily to feel empowered and work through some of her anxious feelings. I do that sometimes. I've definitely started doing it more now. Additional information and support for individuals with Asperger's and related disorders may be obtained through Asperger's Society of Ontario, Autism Ontario, the Geneva Centre. These organizations provide professional services, support groups for affected individuals and their caregivers, and social activities. Thank God they didn't do Autism Speaks, because fuck that. The following books may also be helpful in understanding Emily's social needs and helping her develop new skills. Asperger's in Girls by Tony Atwood, Temple Grandin, and Teresa Bullock. Girls Under the Umbrella of Autism Spectrum Disorders, Practical Solutions for Addressing Everyday Challenges. So some recommended reading. And what is this? Oh. Okay, so it was discussed with her February 18th, 2011. It was discussed with my mother. And nothing was done. Okay, I'm not sure how long that CAMH waiting list is, but it is long. So hopefully they see this report and they're like, oh shit, why hasn't she been diagnosed yet? So yeah, CAMH, please call me back, please. I would like to be assessed. Okay. That's it for this episode. Next week I am going to be doing an episode about my psychiatric inpatient admission in grade 11. I should be getting those records on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm also getting them to send to CAMH for my mental health or assessment or autism assessment or whatever. But I'm like, may as well read it on the pod too. That would be fun. I just want to see what my mom thought about my mental health. Because, if she didn't take my autism seriously, who knows what she said about my mental health. Okay, that's it. I love you all. Bye. There's no music for this episode. I'm sorry. Okay, bye.